Yes, we did get about 2 feet of snow here. It's beautiful. It was beautiful yesterday too with the wild weather. Of course, you have the privilege you don't have to go anywhere. But then people had a hard time or blackouts or flooding, and we feel that too. But it's a beautiful sunny day here in New England. It's a good day to get together, don't you think? Sunday used to belong to the church. The NFL now belongs to us. Imho, Dzogchen. How sweet it is. The eighth grape confection. Sometimes my head feels like a jelly donut. I have no idea who stuffed it, but the innate grape confection, how sweet it is. I don't really need it that much anymore anyway. Only follow a path with heart, as the Yaqui wise man, Don Juan of Mexico, says. And the Dharma certainly is a heart path, not hard, heart. In fact, the Jewish Bodhisattva, Buddhist elder, grandmother, Sylvia Boorstein, says it's easier than you think in her book. You don't look Buddhist. Check it out, Sylvia Boorstein. Wonderful. Things are so simple if we can let them be. But maybe we're not that simple. So we overcomplicate things. And I don't mean simple minded, but simple, straightforward, on point, on the dot. Simply doing what we're doing while we're doing it. Even on TV, I hear people saying these days, a moment of Zen. On the detective movies, on the thrillers. Or think of the Dalai Lama and take a breath. I hear these things. This is good. There may be more to it than that, but if you did that regularly, it could transform one's life. It's not quantity, but quality that counts. The things that are important, right? So I'm glad we can get together like this, and thanks for coming, for being there, and for being. Your value is in being, not in what you do or think, mainly in being. Of course, it matters what we do and think, but if you're getting your value and self-esteem and sense of worth from what you do, or worse, what other people think of what you do, please take the backward step and look inwards and think again, and consider what you be, the character, your integrity, your true self, who and what you are, not just what you do, what you got. Need I go on? These are uncertain days, stressful, pandemic, saber rattling, contentious, divided, partisan days. It doesn't mean we have to subscribe to those factions, though. We who cleave to the high ground, the inner Tibet, the high ground within. I like to remember what Dom Julie of Norwich, the Christian mystic, said 1,000 years ago in England. All is well and all shall be well in this best of all possible worlds. That is the message of the innate great perfection, the natural great completeness, Dzogchen. Not to be Pollyannish. It's not that all is perfect, but all is as it must be, according to karma and our perceptions. When we become clear, everything becomes clearer. So check it out. Last week, the very venerable, great Zen master of Vietnam, long political refugee from the communists in Vietnam, in France, Thich Nhat Hanh, left this world at the age of 95. What a great master. We honor him. He was beloved. We walk his way. He has big footsteps, but we try to follow them. Read his dozens of books, especially his classic, The Miracle of Mindfulness, his classic, Being Peace, his classic, There Is No Way to Peace, Peace is the Way, his wonderful, creative, imaginative Life of Buddha that has the word, the white clouds in the title. I used to remember those things. It's a very interesting big biography of Buddha, about white clouds or something. Sorry, Master Thai, as we called him in Vietnamese, Master Teacher Thai Thich Nhat Hanh, cremated yesterday in Vietnam, where he returned 5 years ago after a stroke and lived his last years. Also, this past week, I think last Sunday, the great Dzogchen Master Dodrip Chen Rinpoche died, age 95 also. It's the sunset of the elder generation of those trained traditionally in the old world, in the old ways, hard to replicate today. We honor them, the great Nintig masters, Dodrip Chen Rinpoche, who taught around the world, who lived in Sikkim since 1958, 57, who even has a center here in Western Massachusetts, the Mahasiddha Nyingmapa Center in West Hawley, Massachusetts, facilitated by his tremendously learned and delightful and accomplished disciple, Thupten Rinpoche, who lives here in Cambridge and has written many books himself in English. We honor Thupten and Dodrip Chen Rinpoche and all those who sail with them, including ourselves, in this lineage of positive Buddhism. Not seeing the half of the glass that's empty, talking about dukkha, life is short and then we die style, but getting our teeth into the luminous, infinite openness, the shining void, joy, mutuality, sharing, oneness. If you think oneness is not a Buddhist term, Thupten Rinpoche has pioneered the use of that word since we understand it in English. Maybe it's not that different than understanding interbeing, the word Thich Nhat Hanh coined about interconnectedness, interdependence, all Buddhist concepts. Of course, oneness can only take us so far. Don't get caught up in mere concepts like oneness or noneness or duality. And yet, in these days of the tremendous partisanship and the partisan divide in our nation capitals and the us and them issues of this world and all that comes from that kind of dualistic or partisan or selfish, self-referential mentality about us and them, racism, war, mine and yours, greed, fear, and so on. Oneness could come in handy when two-ness or even further divisions seem to be holding sway. And the real divide, the real gulf, is between one's small self and one's best self, between ego and the divine, or divine nature, between small mind and big mind. Let's bridge that gap, the chasm, yawning in our inner conflicts, which torment us so often. Love is the way, the truth, and the life. If we don't love and accept ourselves, and I'm not talking about being narcissistic, if we can't accept, forgive, love ourselves, who can we really love and accept? Today, it's a beautiful day, the sun's out. We feel the suffering of the world, the pandemic, people who are ill and suffering, those in our Sangha who are ill or sick, those who are passing away. May they be blessed by being in the bardo in the transition, along with the light bodies, along with the clear light mind, along with the spirit of masters like Thich Nhat Hanh and Dodro Chen Rinpoche and others unknown to numerous to mention in the bardo in the transition today. All those who are in the bardo of transition, who isn't? This life too is a bardo, a passage, changing, fleeting, evanescent. That's why we say it's now or never, is always. Be here now, as has been said for centuries. Don't live in the past or the future, useful as it may be sometimes to remember, to learn the lessons of history, personal or collective, or to plan and strategize about the future also. Planning is also a function of here now. Or simplicity. Like a friend I used to know in New York, named David. It's probably not the David you're thinking about. My old college roommate, it's not him. His teacher, the American guru, the wonderful person whose name just went out of my head, who wore a sari and came back from India in the 60s, 70s, was spiritually realized. She used to tell people in New York to try to do a news fast, not to be so addicted to newspapers and TV. So David only read magazines. I said, David, you found the loophole, huh? Who are we fooling? After all, that's a little bit oversimplifying things. Finding a loophole so you can still keep feeding the brain pan. Anyway, just sitting here together, co-meditating, intermeditating, interbeing, seeing through the illusion of separateness. Look what modern technology has helped us do. Bridge the gap of time and space as if we're together, not just on the phone, not just by getting a letter that makes you feel close with someone afar, which used to take months by ship, then days by plane. Now, if you don't answer I was going to say email, but who sends email anymore? Now, if you don't see a text within 5 minutes, you get another one. Did you get my text? Has anybody counted how many texts they get a day or send? I really don't research these things. And some people do, sociologists and so on. There are books about it, what the internet has cost, the downside of the social media and so on. But I'm not going to grind that axe. Just say I did read that teenagers on average were known to send, I know there was some number that I can't even remember because it was so big, 500 texts a day or something. Think about that, break it down to 18, 16 waking hours, 14 waking hours for some teenagers. It's a hell of a lot of text per hour. What else are they doing? I would like to wonder. We can't live in the Twitter sphere, friends. We'll become twits. Anyway, short can also be good. We can have a beautiful, perfect poem, a haiku in 17 syllables or in 140 characters, whatever it is, no doubt. Or an Instagram or Snapchat. Not that I really get those mediums, but I hear about it. But bring it back to ourselves. How are we doing these days? How are we coping with the stress and anxiety of these uncertain days? I think I talked about this last week. I don't know. I do various teachings, retreats, and workshops online every week about tips and pointers for alleviating stress and anxiety in these pandemic times, these uncertain times. Breaking it down and living one day at a time can help. 1 hour at a time, just this task can help relieve the pressure of big, daunting tasks that we seem to be faced with sometimes. From a meditation point of view, this moment, is it 1 day at a time is way too long. This moment, only moment, this breath, only breath. That's the secret. Nowness is the ultimate therapy. There's no past or future. There's no past conditioning or future expectations or hopes or disappointments. In the nowness, the fourth time, beyond linear, sequential, past, present, and future, horizontal time. The fourth time, the divine time, as the Christian mystics call it, now, ascendant time, divine time, the holy now, the eternal now, the timeless moment. Check it out. Jack Kerouac called it the golden eternity from his mystical experience in Mexico. He wrote a whole book about being on the way. A 60s beatnik classic, if there ever was one. Or maybe it was called On the Road. Who can remember? I don't recommend the movie, but the book is fantastic. And they say he wrote it in one sitting on a roll of what used to be called telegraph paper, not page by page in the typewriter, but the roll of telegraph paper just feeding through the typewriter on this binge in a few weeks, a stream of consciousness in the beatnik and hipster way. Isn't the stream of consciousness mostly what's going on and who, what we are and what we're, I don't want to say addicted to, how about involved in, fascinated by? You might wonder, is that all? Well, if we take a breath, if we take a breather, if we slow down, we might experience something a little different, not just becoming a dummy the rest of the time, but just for a moment, check out the space between thoughts, feelings, and sensations. Plumb the bottomless abyss of just being, not doing, thinking, analyzing, strategizing, judging, evaluating, achieving, becoming. But how about being? We've been becoming for so long. We grow up with the selfing project and creating our empire, the empire of ego, the empire of self. Of course, we have to individuate and grow up and go out in the world and, quote, create our own world, as it were, together. But can we ever drop that and rest and step off the treadmill of events, staggering forward under the burden of our conditioning, the momentum of events? Just step off and take a breath and take a breather. Breathe deeply and hold it. Stop the breath, stop the mind, stop the world. You might be surprised. Need I say, don't hold it too long. Don't forget to let it out if you think you're doing it. Are we really doing what we think we're doing? Are we really producing our thoughts, feelings, sensations, and reactions? All the flotsam and jetsam on the stream of consciousness going by? Who's doing what around here? We're involved with the stream of consciousness like a film, like a movie, like a sitcom. Do we ever look back at who's projecting it, at the projector and the light beam hitting the silver screen of emptiness from the projector in this metaphor? Film projector, stream of light beams, silver screen of emptiness, anything's possible to project there. A process, not just objects, not just a subjectivity, but the whole interaction, subject, object, and interaction in Buddhist psychology. Do we ever look back, look at the looker, see the seer, perceive the perceiver, look at the projector, see our own distortions, interpretations, or just more objectively, subjectivity? So subjective. Who can see things clearly as they are, or totally objectively? It's almost impossible. And yet, we're working that, going that direction, becoming clearer. And things become clearer, like clearing our windshield of all the schmutz and caca. Things become clearer so we can drive more safely and see what's what. Can we ever slow down or even stop just for a moment? I'm not saying forever. If you think death is stopping forever, you might think again. I'm not going to go into all that. But when you breathe your last, you still might start breathing again after a minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes without dying or even brain damage. So what happens at death, and when does this momentum of karma and things stop? Whether it's conscious thoughts or unconscious dreams or just the phenomena that's going on, like when you're in a coma, but still alive. For that matter, when are we born? Are we born when we pop out of mother's womb? Where were we a day before, a week before, a month before? Tibetans count your age from the day you're born. They're 1 year old during the first year. Not like in the Western tradition, we say we're 1 year old after a year, that we're outside the womb breathing independently. I don't know that that's a better way of counting, but when do we begin is the question. Do things just stop? Do they start out of nowhere and just stop? The macrocosm, the universe, cyclical, going so far back, even to the Big Bang. What was before the Big Bang? What banged? One might well wonder. And is there an end? Or is it cyclical? Who knows? Big questions. But let's bring it down to ourselves, the stream of consciousness. Even if we relax and calm down and have less thoughts and feelings, and more clear, lucid, limpid awareness, like a placid lake or a mirror, just reflecting what arises in it, but not reacting or holding on to anything. Then what? Who are we then? Just being. Are we producing the thoughts, or is it just karmic concatenation, cause effect, the bigger ecology of being, according to our conditioning? Nurture and nature in English, karma and kaleshas, karma and obscurations in Buddhist. Are we breathing? Are we doing it? Or is it an automatic nervous system response? Try to stop breathing and see what happens. See who's in charge of that. So as we let go of the notion that we're in control, that we're doing it all, that we ever can be totally in control, we start to look deeper into causation and how we can cause skillfully, wholesomely, attentively things according to our intentions and principles, not just in the bumper cars ride at Coney Island, where the wheel seems to be connected. The steering wheel seems to be disconnected to the wheels. As we get our hands on the wheel of cause and effect, and we can drive our vehicle, which is connected to the wheels in the road, not like in bumper cars. No wonder why we have so many accidents in our life. Sometimes driving with our hands on the rearview mirror, wondering why the car's not going the direction it should. So we don't know what's connected to what. So as we become more aware or slow down or more attentive, we'll have less outer stimulation, like when we're in nature, or in relaxation, breath and simple concentrative or mindfulness exercises, less outer stimulation, more awareness of the inner arisings comes up. And we can think before we react. We have more mental space between stimulus and reaction, so we can choose how, when, and if to respond. How many times have I talked about this mindful anger management? Counting to 10 or at least 3 before you react. Having some mental space to respond more consciously or constructively, or even later rather than right in the moment. Slowing down for the moment. When it's time to catch a bus or train or plane, you might have to hurry. No problem. The center doesn't move. Hurrying is relative. That's why when we practice, I like to talk about sitting on our seat, aligning ourselves. Getting into still center of the turning axle, the axis, the still axis of the turning axle of the universal wheel, the mandala, the wheel of time and space, the Kala chakra. Sitting in the heart cave, as they say in the ancient scriptures, yoga scriptures, yoga sutras, resting in the heart cave, not looking for an outer cave. We don't need earplugs. We don't even have to tune out. We can tune in and get in tune even better, beyond out, and then just tune up, attuned, resonating with life, not still. The Tao flows, is not static. Awareness flows. We don't have to stop it. Just pay attention. Just wake up. Look, see, be. Being is primary, doing comes next. We don't have to lose the being and doing. In Dzogchen, when we talk about relying on the view, resting in the view, trusting the view, we're really talking about relying on being, not doing, and becoming and achieving. Trusting being as we already are. Naturalness is the way, as we already are, not just doing, becoming, and being. So let's practice that a little. There's profound meaning in these simple techniques. If we can be simple, it can be very simple, not necessarily easy, but simple. If we're a little complicated, we might need a little more supports, like guided meditation, like visualization, like objects of attention, like mantra chanting, and so on. But for now, let's see how simple we can be. It's way too simple. It's way too steep, a cliff to ascend, to just say, just be. But that is the ultimate meditation beyond any action called meditation. That's why in Dzogchen we call it non-meditation or unmeditation. Buddha without meditating, relating to our true nature, Buddha nature, complete, radiant, uncorruptible, luminous as it is. Not just trying to perfect ourselves or complete our endless self-improvement project. So just sitting, just breathing, just being present, presencing, mindful if you like, but don't start counting breaths or mindfulness of breathing yet. Just sitting and relaxing at ease and at home on the spot. Natural body is Buddha body, Nirmanakaya, Tuku, perfect embodiment as it is. Just breathing, natural breath and energy is Buddha's breath and energy. Let it go and let Buddha breathe through you, as the theists say. Let go and let God do it. Let go and let Buddha breathe through you, friends. Are you doing it anyway? You're really breathing those thousands of times every day. You're doing it. Come on. We're being breathed. We're like the bellows. But who's blowing through it? That's the question. Maybe we're God's instrument, like bellows, like instruments, like flutes. And our creative expressions are the divine music. It's just breathing and just being present, aware, attentive. What words can encompass it? Incandescently present, lucid, luminous, letting thoughts and feelings and physical sensations and perceptions come and go. All the flotsam and jetsam experience, all the flotsam and jetsam passing on the stream of consciousness, river of experience just go by without evaluating or judging based on liking and disliking, and just letting things come and go, letting be. That's the secret of letting go, letting be. Radical acceptance, great equanimity, big peace, not just quiet, big peace, regardless of the outer decibel level. Relying on the view, just being. That's more than enough. Just for now. Just sitting, just breathing, just being. aware, attentive, present, mindful, luminous, relaxed, at ease, natural, simple, authentic, aligned, centered. Enjoy the buoyance, the freedom and simplicity, the joy of non-meditation. Go meditating together into being. The luminous, uncorruptible spirit, the Dharmakaya, nature, the truthiness of reality itself, Maho, wondrous, Eureka. Thank you. Maho. How sweet it is. A wizard of big exhalation, big relief, big release. This breath, only breath. This moment as if only moment. Enjoyment. Enjoy the show. The only show, the best show in town. This is it. Don't miss it. Ah, sky gazing, space mingling, infinite dissolving, in Tibetan, Namkar Naljor, the Dzogchen practice I call sky gazing, literally, Namkar Naljor, sky space, union, yoga. Eyes open, everything open, decontracted, released, unclench, relax the tight sphincter of ego. Let it all flow. Don't be constipated by turgid thoughts and feelings. What a relief. Sky gazing, space mingling, infinite dissolving, openness and awareness inseparable. If you're distracted, if you need a little more structure in this rather formless openness and awareness, panoramic awareness meditation, focus a little lightly on the out breath. Of course, you're allowed to breathe in. Just use the out breath, ride the out breath as a support, as an aid to letting go, relaxation, a little relinquishment, a little death with each out breath. Otherwise, simply rely, rest in, abide by the view, trusting the view, rest in naked awareness itself, just aware, awareness. Natural state, natural great perfection of things left just as they are, the nirvanic peace and things left just as they are. I stop pushing and pulling based on attraction and aversion, likes and dislikes, and just be. Being and seeing is so freeing. Awareness is curative. Awareness with a capital A plus. Just being with a capital B plus. See? refreshing and revivifying the corpse of innate wakefulness, of nowness awareness, the authentic, unfabricated Buddha within. Ah, 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 the five ahs of the Dzogchen Mandala, Longchenpa Dzogchen Mandala, the five ahs, embodying the five limbs, the five senses, the five physical elements, as the five kayas, the Buddha bodies or Buddha dimensions, realizing the entire multiverse, to use a modern word, the trichilocosm, to use a Buddhist word in translation, the three worlds, in a more basic translation, the entire multiverse, the three worlds as the three kayas, form, formless, and pure spirit. The whole world, the whole universe, my body, as the great Dakini sings, all beings, my spiritual mind, my spirit, my heart, my mind. Sings the three Dakinis, the earth Dakini, the heaven Dakinis, and the beyond. There's so many Dakinis, but I can hardly remember them. We're all Dakinis, sky dancers, pure energy, the movements of emptiness, like the zephyr, the west wind, the poets. Three kayas, two kayas, one, less and less, simpler and simpler, loss upon loss until at last comes rest. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone, as Lao Tzu says in Tao Te Ching. I can't recommend it enough. The Tao Te Ching, the way of wisdom and flow. So congruent with our Dzogchen Buddhist meditation. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 The needle stuck in the record group. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mantra number 3. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Oh, mommy, pray me home, breathe right now. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Why wait? Oh, Mani Padme Hum. 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 I'm too old to wait. It's too early to hurry. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. 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 Oh, mommy, pray me us home. Oh, let's walk each other together home. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Om Shalom. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Moving from me to we. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. The jewels in the lotus, awakenings within our own possibilities and potential. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Like the lotus unfolding. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. From me to we and beyond. Oh, including the Oh, Mani Padme Hum. 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 May all be happy, well, and fulfilled. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Safe, free. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Healed and whole again and in harmony. Om Shanti. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Peace, acceptance, harmony, Shanti. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Om Shanti. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. We seem to be getting some interference, some Shanti bombing. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. 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 Loving kindness to the one and all. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Wishing others well. Wow. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Compassion for all who suffer. Feeling with them and being moved into action. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Feeling with them, resonating, dancing together. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Tuning, aligning. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Connecting, merging, melting. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Singing, dancing. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Praying, playing. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. God prays by sledding. Just look outside. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. I'm going to the hill today. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Why get stuck in sitting position? Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Love for one and all equally. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum, oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, yeah. Oh, Mani Padme Hum, 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 oh, Mani Padme Hum. Don't look the light, overlook the light, the brightness in the shadows. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Shadows are nothing but light. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Our dark side equally divine as the light side. Om Mani Padme Hum. All encompassing. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Room for one and all. Om Mani Padme Hum. Thank you. 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 Oh, Mani Padme Hum, Maho, Mani Padme Hum, oh, Mani Padme Hum, oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum, oh, Mani, play me like an instrument, oh, Mani Padme Hum, fine tune we, oh, Mani Padme Hum. This is getting trippy, oh yeah, oh, Mani Padme Hum. Joyous Dharma, freedom and delight. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Wishing well for all, wishing others well. Wow. Om Mani Padme Hum. Love and compassion in action now. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Call to act, compassionate action. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. My American Bodhisattvas awaken. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Stand up and speak truth to power. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Collect yourselves with mindfulness. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Come home to oneself, to harmony, integration. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. All together now. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum, 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 oh, Mani Padme Hum. Please join us for our virtual retreat in lieu of our usual spring week retreat coming up soon. Krishna Das is our special guest teacher. Don't miss it. Spread the word. It'll be special. They'll be chanting and kirtan, devotional chanting Saturday night and Saturday afternoon. We'll be dialoguing, talking, telling stories of our guru, Karoli Baba Maharaji, and practicing. The subject of the weekend is the unification of bhakti and gyan, with devotional path and wisdom, knowledge, awareness path, bhakti and gyan. Next Saturday, I believe it is, we have Lama, Ask the Lama session. Please join. February 5th, whatever day of the week it is. Thank you. This has been delightful. Go forth and unite, don't divide. I bow. To the invisible array, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, gods and goddesses, angels, local nature sprites, dakinis and dakinis, in your seat. Don't overlook them. American Buddhists, awaken, throw off your chains, your hang-ups, your self-doubts. Imaho. Way to go. We did it. Stay safe and sane. Thank you.
Thank you, Lama, for your teachings and your time with us, and encouraging those of you who are with us today to donate to the foundation. That's how we keep transmitting Lama's information, and also become a member. We have a member-only event coming up February 24th, so love to see you there. Thank you all. Hope to see you again soon, maybe Saturday. Ask the Lama. Bring your questions. Take care, everyone.